Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars franchise seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about their new Star Wars TV shows and movies currently in the works by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about the new universe is that we have George, Jon, and Dave all working together as a team to deliver as much authentic material as possible in order to really satisfy the fans. We all witnessed of what already happened with The Mandalorian Season 2's finale. That's a direct example right then and there of exactly what Jon Favreau and Filoni are capable of doing, let alone Chapter 13, which was also amazing with the introduction of a live-action version of Ahsoka Tano in the mix that really set and raised a new bar for the Star Wars franchise overall. Now, when we go ahead and check out the sequel trilogy movies, of course, everything related to The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker had many different issues going on with those films, all because of Kathleen Kennedy pulling the strings in the background. After all, this is a person that promised many different things for George Lucas that she did not end up actually using in the actual movies themselves. Now, with that being said, what's really intriguing all has to do with George Lucas's stance on the overall structure of Star Wars and exactly what has been going on behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm ever since the very end of the Skywalker saga. Now, specifically, with The Mandalorian Season 2 now over, Disney and Lucasfilm are focused on their Star Wars projects moving ahead in order to make sure that Star Wars can indeed succeed on the same level as Marvel. It's described, however, that behind the scenes, creator George Lucas had been dealing with tons of regret over how he feels he is the one responsible for letting Star Wars become complicated as a franchise due to the mishandling of the sequel trilogy by Disney and Kathleen Kennedy. George Lucas is described to be sorry for what he allowed to happen to the sequel trilogy movies, and even felt so bad for the change in the style of The Rise of Skywalker that he could not even bear to show up at the Rise of Skywalker premiere back in December of 2019. Now, in case you guys did not know, Lucas did not show up at the premiere for Episode 9. That's a fact. And the biggest reason of all had to do with his grudge against Kathleen Kennedy and him feeling so terribly bad about what happened to the very end of the saga. Now, George Lucas is also sorry for allowing Kathleen Kennedy to take over Star Wars and feels completely betrayed over the fact that Kennedy had promised to take care of his characters, in which she did not in the long run for the sequel trilogy movies overall, and decided to ignore many of his concepts for Episode 7 through Episode 9. Now, let's stop right there for 1 second. Now, the thing about George Lucas, alright, is that this is a man that really viewed the Star Wars films as his children. I mean, because of what he had to go through in order to make Star Wars successful, part of it was luck, yes, I understand that, but the other side was creativity. He was very creative and groundbreaking as a creator when it came to Star Wars. I mean, he went from studio to studio, getting shot down until eventually he was able to make Star Wars a thing. The Star Wars at one point in time, before it was Star Wars A New Hope. Now, the thing about this is that George Lucas, feeling very betrayed and sorry for the fans and how he is very sorry for what he allowed to happen, I don't think it was really his fault. I really don't, because put yourself in George Lucas's shoes. He wanted Star Wars to exist and continue. He just did not want the pressure or the burden to actually take care of those movies and or the entire franchise. So he handed it over to Kathleen Kennedy. She promised that she would take care of things. That's the big word, promised. She promised George Lucas to take care of the characters and the stories, in which she really did not. I mean, let's face it, look at what she did to Luke in The Last Jedi, and look at what she did to Luke also in The Rise of Skywalker. So many scenes deleted, so much potential of what could have been for Episode 9 that was completely flipped, all because of Kathleen Kennedy, trying to push her own version of the movie and felt that that was more necessary than the other versions that were being done by J.J. Abrams, George Lucas, Chris Terrio, while they were also trying to salvage pieces from Jon Favreau's script that Kathleen Kennedy wanted nothing to do with that at all in any way, shape, or form. That's exactly why the movie, in and on itself, really felt very, I guess you could say, scrambled and rushed and just out of place at times, especially in the first act structure. There's a lot of moments in which it does not feel right. So like I've said before in the past, guys, I think that regardless, George Lucas, the fact that he is now involved with this new universe with Filoni and Favreau, it's a beautiful thing because now we're seeing a transformation, if you will, within the Star Wars franchise right now. So yeah, like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.